Good afternoon, and straight away let me tell you that we have 3 FA Cup games for you that capture all the excitement and drama that you would hope to find in the 5th round of the competition. We start with Tottenham Hotspur against Coventry City, followed by 4th Division Peterborough against Manchester City, but our final top-of-the-bill spot belongs to Wolves and Wrexham. And to cap it all, I'll be apologising for misleading some of you last week.
And in today's roundup, news of the 2 FA Cup replays and the first Sunday League match for 7 years, plus the much requested action of the world's most expensive player.
Well, let's go now to White Hart Lane, undergoing a facelift at the moment, to see many people's fancy for Wembley. Tottenham Hotspur played Coventry City, who were anxious to lift themselves following Tuesday's last-minute defeat by West Ham in the Football League Cup semi-final. Your commentator, John Motson.
Glenn Hoddle passed a fitness test a few hours before the kick-off and hopes to continue his remarkable record against Coventry City. He's scored 6 goals against them in their last 3 visits to White Hart Lane. There's one change in the Spurs lineup, and that's at number 2, where Chris Hughton, who has been out with injury since Boxing Day, returns at the expense of Don McAllister. Gary Brooke, who would have played had Hoddle been unfit, is named as substitute. And don't be confused by the numbering in defence. The number 4, Graham Roberts, is the left-back. And Coventry, by coincidence, have a left-back with the same name. He's number 3, Brian Roberts. Coventry make 2 changes after that League Cup defeat at West Ham. At number 7, 19-year-old Steve Jacobs replaces Peter Bodak. And at number 10, Tommy English comes in for Mark Hateley, who's the substitute. Keith Birkinshaw, the Spurs manager, on his way out. And this afternoon's referee is Joe Worrell of Warrington. Tottenham, who start the match playing from right to left, are in the 5th round for the 21st time since the war. That's a record for any club. Coventry wearing sky blue, and the flag up immediately. It was Danny Thomas who made the challenge. But the linesman had spotted an offside, and it's a free kick to Coventry. This is an all-ticket match with only 3 sides of the ground being used. The limit was 41,000, although Coventry, whose fans have done a fair bit of travelling this week, had in fact returned some tickets. It was Roberts up with English, then Galvin with Thomas. English looking for Thompson. Lost his place quite early in the season, Tommy English, but got a chance to re-establish himself today. Here's Galvin for Spurs. Brooks, Perryman, good first-time stuff. Has been a feature of Tottenham's game this season. Offside against Thompson, who's the top scorer for Coventry with 11 goals. Archibald and Dyson. Hoddle. There's Daly missing out. Hoddle again, he's found Crooks. Archibald is in the centre, and so are 2 others as Hughton joins the attack. Away by Dyson, here's Perryman. Hoddle. Roberts. Well struck by a player who a year ago was with Weymouth and signed for Spurs around cup final time last year. Would be quite a romantic story if he was to actually reach the FA Cup final this season. Graham Roberts. Here's Jacobs. And Hughton brought down by Steve Hunt rather heavily. Words exchanged. Referee Joe Worrell quickly on the scene, wanting a word with Hunt, presumably. So Hoddle to take the kick for Tottenham. Lacey with the header. Crooks is in there. Ardiles. Lacey. Ardiles to Perryman. Dyson. Blair. Gillespie. Miller. Now Blair again. Steve Hunt for Coventry. Good skill, and I think Tottenham felt English was offside, but again the linesman's flag stayed down. Ardiles away from Gillespie. Archibald intercepted again by Gillespie, and now Ardiles has got a great chance, and he scored. A terrible mistake by Dyson. Oh, a dreadful error by Coventry. And Ozzy Ardiles, with Dyson hanging his head, took advantage. Coventry appeared to have averted the danger, but Dyson's back pass went straight to Ardiles, who went round the goalkeeper and put the ball in the net. Really bad moment for Paul Dyson, and Ozzy Ardiles scores his 6th goal of the season, and it's been his best year in terms of goal scoring since he came to White Hart Lane. Really coolly taken goal. Dyson now in the attack. Thompson's on the far post. Crooks being marked by Steve Jacobs. Ardiles to Hoddle. Nice ball. Crooks. Archibald hovering in the centre. Crooks' shot comes back off Gillespie. Here's Hoddle. The back heel to Ardiles. Looking for Houghton. And a corner. Intricate play by Tottenham and productive. Was wasted by Glenn Hoddle, but here's Galvin from a bad clearance by Daly. Crooks. Graham Roberts still well forward in the area. So is Lacey. Crooks cross. Oh! Dyson missed that completely, and Archibald couldn't believe it. Another heart-stopping moment for the Coventry number 5. He completely missed his header, and if Archibald had realised that was going to happen, he would surely have reacted quicker than he did. Archibald. Roberts. Hoddle drifting in from the right at the moment. That's where the ball's going. Roberts' header away. Oh, and a chance for Houghton to cash in, perhaps. Here's Perryman. Ardiles. Archibald. Nice back heel to Crooks. And he couldn't turn quite quick enough to get past Danny Thomas. But nice approach play by Steve Archibald, whose combination this season with Garth Crooks has been a joy for the Tottenham fans to see. 37 goals between them before today, and they really enjoy playing with each other. Ardiles cross. Roberts. Hoddle's flick. Lacey. Archibald! Archibald scores his 22nd of the season, made for him by John Lacey. With 33 minutes gone, Spurs go 2-up. The approach seemed almost harmless, but Coventry just weren't concentrating. Lacey knocked the ball forward, and Archibald, with Seeley on his line, volleyed past him. Archibald got 2 against Coventry in the league match earlier this season. Now he makes it 2-0 in this 5th round FA Cup tie. And that, by the way, is his 19th goal in the last 27 games. Tremendous record. Waiting for Barry Daines to come. So Coventry, so disappointed in the League Cup in midweek, now find themselves 2 goals down in the FA Cup just a few days later. And for a team whose average age is only 21, that's got to be rather disheartening. And there is confidence sapping away here. Ardiles, and it's Crooks. Crooks again, is it going in? No! Well, Dyson's first mistake, Ardiles, Crooks, a save by Seeley, Crooks from the rebound, trickling wide, but it could so easily have been 3-0. Coventry have got 2 against 2 here for a moment. The header was by Miller. Hunt was following up. Just about 5 minutes left in the first half. Spurs lead 2-0. Here's Thompson for Coventry. And that tackle by Graham Roberts is penalised. Dyson has made his way forward with Gillespie for this free kick. But it's been played short, and here's English, and they weren't concentrating in defence. And Tommy English gets one back with the Tottenham players half asleep. The big men were making their way to the far side of the penalty area, but it was played in short and low and quickly for Tommy English, and as Daines came out, he slid the ball underneath him. So, a Tottenham defence who will reproach themselves for that. And English, restored to the side today, comes back with a goal. And gives Gordon Milne's team renewed hope. Crooks. Oh, Ardiles again, and Seeley held on to it as Archibald came in. Hoddle. Crooks. Hoddle again. Archibald. And again Tottenham was square, and here comes Gary Thompson over the goalkeeper. Roberts had time to see that and volley it away, but Spurs are getting caught square too often for their own comfort. Perhaps spotting that the Spurs defence was vulnerable, Coventry manager Gordon Milne brought on attacker Mark Haitley at the start of the second half and took off defender Paul Dyson. And this is Roberts. That's a foul by Chris Hughton. Well, Haitley will obviously give Coventry added strength in the air. On set pieces like this. Oh, that was Haitley. Just proving the point. Well, his father was always noted for his tremendous skill, jumping and heading, and his son is built in very much the same mould. Perryman. Hoddle. Hunt. Striving to beat Hoddle, but it was the other way round, and Hoddle's ball is a superb one to Archibald. And here's Hoddle again, too far ahead of Crooks. There he is, though. Perryman. Roberts. Ardiles. Hoddle. Galvin. Still Tony Galvin. Oh, saved by Seeley, and Gillespie away, only as far as Perryman. And now Hoddle. Seeley really beating out that first cross-come shot from Galvin. Bad marking again there, and English is almost in, and Daly's behind him. Here's Daly. And again. Well, you have the feeling that with two teams committed to attack here, somebody's got to score very shortly. It's still 2-1 to Tottenham. Here's Hoddle. Ardiles. Crooks. Houghton shot. Again, the long kick by Seeley, the jump by Thompson. The clearance was by Perryman. Roberts. Could be awkward. Daly is in there, Thompson's in there, and he didn't middle that at all. And Spurs are going to make a substitution. Ozzy Ardiles is going off, and he's going to be replaced by Gary Brooke. He's the number 12 then for Tottenham. Header was by Jacobs. So, are Coventry going to go out of 2 cups in a week, or can they come back and force a replay here in rather less than 15 minutes? 2-1 to Spurs, all the goals in the first half. And that's a high challenge by Perryman on Daly. That was Thompson. That's Perryman to Hoddle, and he's found Galvin, and Spurs looking now for something further forward. Brooke has joined the attack on this side. Still Galvin. Crooks. Archibald, it's a bit tight in there. Here's Perryman. Hoddle to his right. Houghton is well forward, it's Chris Houghton! It's there! And the experience of Steve Perryman played a part in the move. He found Glenn Hoddle. Hoddle fed the through ball. And with Keith Birkinshaw saying on the bench there, 10 minutes to go, it's 3-1 to Spurs. And Chris Houghton, who returned to the side today for the first time since Boxing Day, scores what may prove to be the conclusive goal. And here come Tottenham again. Hoddle, outside him is Gary Brooke. On the far post is Crooks. That was Houghton's second goal of the season. And it may be the one that clinches Spurs' place in the 6th round. Pushing it back. Here's Houghton. The Spurs have got a man over in this attack if they play it right. Hoddle's on the right wing. There are 5 the other way. And it's still Hoddle. And it's still Hoddle. And everything was right, apart from a rather feeble shot by his standards. And that's threaded through to English by Hunt, and English with a chance here, puts it wide. So, activity in both penalty areas, in time being added on for injuries. Tommy English, not for the first time, clear of the defence, but this time angling his shot the wrong side of the post. Here's Blair. And a roar goes up as Spurs reach the 6th round of the FA Cup for the 3rd year running. Keith Birkinshaw will be hoping that this time they can go one better at least and get to the semi-final. A match they had well won, it seemed, at 2-0, then gave away a goal, and then came back with Chris Hughton making the telling run, which clinched the game. Coventry, a little weary no doubt after the exertions at West Ham, have lost 2 cup ties in London in the space of just 5 days.
Well, that's sad for Coventry, and it doesn't look too good from here either. But to understand how it felt to be involved at the heart of that double defeat, John Motson spoke to the elder statesman of the young Coventry team, Jerry Daly, who was not afraid to face the facts.
I think when all is said and done, we didn't deserve to get anything from either match. You know, we've given away goals, silly goals, and in the first division, or when you're playing in a semi-final of a cup, you're playing against good teams, and you can't afford to give away silly goals because they'll punish you.
Do you think the effect of the West Ham match played any part at all in your performance at Tottenham?
Well, I'd like to think so now, when it's all done and finished with. We just didn't play. It's as simple as that. Maybe you could say we were a bit tired, or everybody was a bit drained and so on, a bit disappointed about the West Ham affair and so. But there's not much really you can say. It's just finished with now. It's gone. I don't know whether it was a case of West Ham or not. It just didn't play.
Coventry, obviously a very young side, average age 21. Do you think the big occasion, looking back now, might have been a little bit too much for one or two of the younger players who will be better equipped next time?
I think so. From what I know, the players, they've got a lot of potential there. Very cocky young players. And I'm sure the season that we've had this year will always stand them in good stead for the future. They are tremendous players, potentially very, very good players indeed. And I'm sure in the future it will do, yeah.
Now, many people feel it could be Spurs' year for the Cup. All sorts of omens have been mentioned. Having played against them now and been beaten by them, do you go along with that?
Well, I think Middlesbrough, they're my bet for the Cup. I think they're a very good team. I don't know about Spurs. I think they're a wee bit vulnerable in defence. It's just a personal opinion I have, and that's why I wouldn't back him to win. I'd have a little bet on Middlesbrough.
Well, we shall see if Jerry Daly's tip comes off, and whether Tottenham go on to win the Cup or not. I must say they're an enjoyable team to watch. They love to go forward, and if it does stretch their defence at times and give their opponents a look in, well, it's far from boring.
Now to our second game, and the most romantic of yesterday's ties between the last of the 4th Division survivors, Peterborough United, a club who've produced a few cup shocks in the past, and 1st Division Manchester City, who've been knocked out by little clubs in the last 2 seasons. Your commentator at London Road, Barry Davis.
For the posh, the taste of cup success only whets the appetite for more. 28,000 in the ground, who paid record receipts of £40,000. And in the centenary season of the FA Cup, it's only right that Peterborough should be having their say. As a non-league club, they brought down no less than 8 league sides, and since gaining league status themselves, they've always been a thorn in the side of the mighty. Their lineup includes 3 teenagers. It includes also a man who captained Fulham in the FA Cup final of 1975. He's Alan Slough. The oldest contestant in this season's competition, Tommy Robson, and Robbie Cook, whose 21 goals have marked him as a player to be watched. Manchester City were at the gates of Wembley in the League Cup on Tuesday and saw them close, and now they must make another run there from further out. Their side shows 4 changes from that occasion. Tommy Caton is left out, and so indeed is their manager John Bond, who's in bed with flu. The referee this afternoon is Ray Lewis of Great Bookham. Peter Morris, the Peterborough manager, formerly with John Bond at Norwich City. On the Peterborough badge, is written the words "upon this rock," and many teams have founded on the rock of Peterborough. And Manchester City will be conscious that the last couple of seasons they've been the victims of a giant killing, and right at the start Joe Corrigan has to get involved. Last 2 seasons City have gone out to Shrewsbury Town and to Halifax Town. And this no easy test for them. That was Mickey Ginn who got the thing going for Peterborough. Slough used to be a midfield player, but now playing in the back 4. Full power, the City skipper seeing a lot of the ball and seeing a fair bit of the ground there too. The referee quickly across to have words with McVeigh, and indeed reaching for the book. Well, boos around the ground, but one certainly can't blame Mr. Lewis. In cup tie football, that sort of action has to be stamped on, indeed in any sort of football, but particularly in cup tie football. It's out for the goal kick. It's also a pleasant sunny afternoon and not as cold as anticipated. Booth. Donald. Slight inquest going on. Met by Slough. It's Phillips. Mackenzie. Needs somebody to go left for him. Power is there. Reeves, now they've got somebody right. Who's Hutchison. They're massing in the middle. Hodgson covering at the expense of a corner. Three for a diagonal run, 3 on the near post. Over comes MacDonald. Bit of a haymaker by the goalkeeper, was very effective. Hutchison. City offering plenty of width. Power again. And Booth. The goalkeeper moving his feet to cover. Not a good throw out, but McVeigh making something of it. Throw to Robson. Booth across. Oh, Robson has done so well. And here's Cook. Marvellous piece of play by Robson. Lovely turn with Booth looking to head the ball out. And Robbie Cook going for the narrow angle. Certainly did enough to worry Joe Corrigan. When City lost in the last 2 years to supposedly lesser sides, conditions were a factor. Very hard ground at Shrewsbury, pretty muddy ground at Halifax, but playing conditions here are absolutely perfect. Cook holding it well, but finding that the men moving up are usually marked. Peterborough certainly being stretched side to side. Hutchison out to the right. Reeves on the far post. Good play by Hutchison. That's Bennett. The goalkeeper wouldn't have seen that if it had been on target. Doing a lot of wandering. Hutchison, who supplied the cross then, he's one of the players offering width, but Paul Power, the skipper, has been out on the left, out on the right, and generally running things for the First Division side. Kellock. Robson. Hodgson. Bit of space here on the right. Ball with Quo. Oh, that's good pace inside. Ginn wants it in the inside left position. Quo rather belatedly having the shot. But as he made the run, he had Ginn diagonally forward and didn't see him. He was certainly calling for it. Hutchison. Bennett is drawn slack out. Mackenzie's in the middle, away by Slough. Early for Robson. It's a fair chase down the middle. Oh, flying attempt by Billy Kellock. It was a good quick break, which the crowd enjoyed. Even if, to be truthful, it never quite looked like getting the right finish. Whoa. McVeigh. That's good from Robson. Here's Cook. Kellock. Gin in the middle. So is Cook! Well, it was a fine chance. He was prepared to take it as it came over his shoulder. But in fact, he got underneath it and over the top. Reeves. Hutchison. Plenty of players forward. And now Robson for Peterborough. Vey came from Notts County, the side that Peterborough beat in the previous round. Gin. That's nicely inside. He's got a man wide to the right, but he's going to have a go on his own. And it came off Reed. And it forced Corrigan to activity. Jim wanting to do it on his own, and the ball came off Nicky Reed, and there was an agonising moment, but it looked as though it might just squeeze past Corrigan. But Corrigan back in time. Reeves. Power. Bennett going out to the left, created the space by going there. There's Hutchison. He could come inside, he goes the other way. Bennett. Slack doing a good job. He's staying behind him as Bennett tried to turn. And Power can come up and take the corner. Power with the corner. Reeves on the near post, gets the flick. In comes Bennett. McDonald right on the line, and it's in. No, it's not going to count. And I think it's because of a handball. Certainly Trevor Slack pointing to a handball. And it seemed that McDonald put the ball over the line with his hand as it came in from Dave Bennett. Smile from Mr. Lewis, and on we go. 5 minutes of the first half remaining. Bennett. Reeves moving to the near post. Power. By Quo. McDonald. Met by Slack. Hutchison. Power has made the run, but it's too long. Mackenzie at the back. And a corner. Certainly the threat from Manchester City is the greater. Their overall team play suggests that they're of a higher station than Peterborough. Peterborough have had 3 possible chances in the half. And the score is still 0-0. As Waff palms it down, it's blocked. And finally, it's turned in by Tommy Booth. The first attempt was blocked, and Tommy Booth, spinning round, thumps it high into the net. And I'm not surprised that he celebrates that, because he hasn't scored for 2 seasons. His last goal was in the League Cup against Blackpool in a 3rd round replay. And it gives the First Division side breathing space as half-time approaches. Good spin by him, and Peterborough are 1 down. It's Kellock, and the free kick to Peterborough. Slack up for it, met by Booth. Hodgson. Gin. Does carry the ball well. Can he come inside now? He was trying to, and Dow took his legs away as Gin turned at quite a sharp angle. Peterborough with 4 players in the area. Now Gin could come inside again. Looks for the right one. Robson is at the back and gets the nod in, and Kellogg the wrong side of the post. Well, Kellogg couldn't take his chance, and with a quarter of an hour of the second half gone, there'd been no further threats to Manchester City's lead. Phillips. Again, Gin looking well balanced, but ran into trouble. And here's Mackenzie with a real chance. And a good save from Woff. Certainly gave it plenty of thump, Steve Mackenzie. And Woff, who came forward to narrow the angle, parried it away. It's curling again, but that time more comfortably for a keeper. Kellogg, Phillips. Free kick for the challenge by Booth, who kicks the ball away, and for that he will be booked. Peterborough pleading on Booth's behalf, it seems. But Mr. Lewis, as on the first occasion, really with not too great a choice. Booth definitely kicked the ball away, and it showed dissent to the decision. So Corrigan wants 3 in the wall. Or has he? A bit of a mess in front of him, but he's happy that the right side of his goal is covered. And Kellogg will probably take the strike, and does, and oh, and he hits a really fine effort. Well, that's given him something to remember from the game. This might well be the last clearance. Yes, indeed. And the survivor of the 1969 Cup-winning side, Tommy Booth, takes Manchester City past round 5 for the first time since then. A disappointing afternoon for Peterborough. Had their chances in the first half, but once those weren't taken, their chance clearly slipped away.
Well, from Peterborough's point of view, Barry summed it up perfectly. And as for City, well, they did nothing to tarnish their growing reputation. Well, now for what we thought was the best of our 3 matches between Wolves and Wrexham. On the face of it, the tie leaned Wolves' way because of status and ground advantage. But as you'll see, Wrexham had no intention of being sacrificial lambs. Your commentator, Alan Perry.
It's Molineux's biggest crowd of the season for Wolves' 31st cup tie in only 2 years. And those lucrative cup runs helped to finance the new £2 million stand, which today is almost full. Wolves are unchanged as they bid to reach their 4th FA Cup quarter-final in the last 5 seasons. With Peter Daniels still injured, it means a place for Wayne Clark, whose famous brother Alan, now manager of Leeds, scored 38 goals in this competition, a post-war record he holds jointly with Dennis Law. The only current player who's anywhere near that total is Wrexham's captain, Dixie McNeil. He has 28 cup goals, including the winners in the previous rounds against West Ham and Wimbledon. Well, Ian Edwards is fit to continue his link-up with McNeil in the Wrexham attack. And a marvellous atmosphere at Molineux. And today's referee, Mr. Alan Robinson of Portsmouth. So it's Wrexham in the white shorts who start us off attacking from right to left, and their cup record in recent years is as good as any club outside the First Division. Aim for Gray, and it finds him. Hip it underneath it. Now Richards, Jones reaching it before him. Here's Hibbett again. Now Eaves. Pulled it back well, and a little suspect of a push then from Jones as the ball came into the box, but referee Robinson right in line with play, and Wolves get the corner. Call on the near post, Eves on the far post. McNeil away, but Hibbett again. Sutton now for Wrexham. Minutes gone, no goals. McCall's header. Gray. Eves controlling it well, then giving it straight to Arthur. Sigelski's clearance. Berry having to get there first because Edwards was right behind him. Right forward, Berry. Jones. Referee wants the kick taken from the spot the offence occurred. Sped up. Jones away, that was a good header, but straight to Hibbett. Gray was onside, Richards, Clark! Well, the Wrexham defence hesitated then, and their players looking towards the linesman. Gray, then Richards. Finally the ball reaching Clark, and he scooped it right-footed wide of the Wrexham goal, and that was a let-off for the second division side. And Edwards being pushed by McCall. Cartwright, who takes almost every free kick that Wrexham get. If he takes them like that, he can go on doing it. Sigelski. That's difficult for the keeper. And Bradshaw really did well then. Ball swerving as it reached him from Sigelski's chip back into the middle. And the punch was very effective. Now Gray. This is Clark. 2, 3, and 4. What a run. Parkin. Oh, charged down by Fox, and there could be danger here for Wolves. Fox can really move. McNeil's arriving in the middle. He had to shoot, and it wasn't a bad effort in the end, but was never going to find the net. Well, Joey Jones has always been somewhat unorthodox, and certainly looked a little bit awkward as he climbed for that one. McCall with the free kick for Wolves. Sigelski away. Oh, it's beaten everybody, and it might reach Gray. It did indeed, but Andy Gray will be very disappointed with that effort. Really, a lot of hesitancy at the back then by Wrexham, and the ball finding Andy Gray somehow, and that left foot shot screwed well over the top, even allowing for the bounce. Not a good effort. And again, it was Edwards who got there first. This is Fox for Wrexham. Dwyer. Berry will reach that. And Wrexham get an unexpected corner, which is the signal for Wayne Sigelski and Joey Jones, the two centre-backs, to move upfield. Sigelski and Edwards on the near post. Bradshaw's punch, and it's in! Wrexham have scored through Fox. Their first worthwhile attack of the half, and Wrexham have taken the lead. The corner floated over by Cartwright, backwards on the near post, but it finally reached Fox, and his looping header into the top of the net has given Wrexham an unexpected lead. 29 minutes gone. Wolves 0, Wrexham 1. Steve Fox, the former Birmingham player, has really found the goal touch in recent games. He went 13 months without getting one. That's his fourth in a matter of weeks. And what a vital one it was. The Wolves have hit back immediately with this free kick. Gray, but straight at Davis. Anxiety showing on the face of John Barnwell, the Wolves manager. Edwards, winning a lot of the ball in the air. McNeil, Berry blocked it. Oh, Berry's in trouble here. McNeil again! And the Wrexham players appealing for handball as the ball was cleared. The referee has waved play on. And offside again on Atkinson. Well, looking back on that incident in the Wolves goal mouth, Berry, who did well with the initial block, almost ran himself, and indeed did run himself into trouble as McNeil turned to hit the ball back. Wrexham's players appealed for handball, but the referee said no. Here's Berry again. Eves. Pickett on his inside. And Clark on the right. Just a minute to go to half-time. Gray. And Sutton chased back so well. From the Wrexham fans and their hero Steve Fox with that goal in the 29th minute against the run of play. And frankly, Wrexham have only had one other opportunity since then, when Wolves made a mistake in their own box. But then again, Wolves haven't created too much danger either. Wolves 0, Wrexham 1. So Wolves, who've had replays in both the previous rounds, start this second half facing a real battle. And already an appeal by Eves for a free kick, but not given. Park in, and offside. Richards, the umpteenth time it seems today, strayed a little too far forward. Suspicion of a push then, but the referee waves play on. This is Clark. Wolves. Palmer on his outside. Long for Hibbett. Sigelski. Now Berry. And that was always going to be difficult. Clark. 3 men in the middle for him to pick out here. Oh, well, it was brave, and it was as well for Wrexham that Cartwright was. Throw aim towards Richards, but Jones was right behind him once more. McCall coming forward for the free kick. Lifted in by Palmer. Arkwright away. Ooh, and that wasn't a bad effort at all by Clark. That's his second snapshot. The similarity to his brother Alan, remarkable really facially. And he can hit a ball just as sweetly as Allen too. Now that ball holding up. Richards. Now Hibbett for Wolves. Richards and Eves forward, so is Gray. He's going it alone though. Here's Andy Gray. And Guy Davis got the vital touch. The Wrexham defence retreated in the face of Hibbett's charge. In the end, he pushed the ball short to his right, and Gray really hit that one powerfully. Davis palmed it round for a Wolves corner. Richards on the near post, Eaves on the far, Gray making the run, and Davis with the punch. Here's Palmer. Parkin. Again, Wrexham's back four moving forward and made it difficult then for Parkin. And Wrexham defending pretty well. Parkin away, but straight at Arkwright. Very missed kicking his clearance, but Atkinson was in the way to help out. Now Eaves for Wolves. Dispossessed again by Fox. Eaves. Just stayed in for Parkin. Sigelski. Now Eaves. Parkin, a lot of men on the far post for him to lift it for here. Chooses to go along the ground, and here's Clark! Well, Clark has had 3 opportunities in this game to score, and that was probably the most difficult of all. He took it beautifully, hit the ball, and it hit the post, and Wrexham have survived. Hibbett's throw. Richards' header. Come back for Hibbett. What a scramble in the middle. Gray tried to get a shot in. Cartwright was in the way. It's still not clear. It is now. And there's a counter attack at the other end, but Edwards won't get there first. And now the crowd getting behind Wolves. A tremendous atmosphere. Always a great ground when it's nearly full, and it is today. Shout. Our ball, indeed it was, for Wrexham. Parkin. Now Berry, the great roar, by the way, for the side of Norman Bell, the Wolves substitute, warming up on the touchline, but here's Cartwright for Wrexham. McNeil and Edwards in the centre. Edwards, McNeil, great save! Very nearly clinched it then. Cartwright's run down the left. The little flip by Edwards. McNeil stooping and almost conquering. And that was a marvellous save by Bradshaw to deny Dixie McNeil his usual goal. Berry on from Clark to Hibbett. And the substitution will be made by Wolves. And listen to that roar. I think you could say that the Wolves fans approve. Norman Bell, who lost his place when Andy Gray recently returned to the side, 6 foot 13 stone, and might have the physical power needed to accept those centre-backs in the Wrexham defence. Eaves off and Norman Bell on. Throw in aim towards Richards. Here's Bell. Oh! And the shot in the end by Palmer. Well, that could have been really dramatic because Bell had only been on the field for about 5 seconds, and the little flick header on by Richards from that long throw in almost reached him. In the end, it fell at the feet of Palmer, and his shot went wide. Edwards, and he was being fouled from behind by McCall. McCall shouted, and header gives Wrexham a throw. Edwards. Arkwright. Difficult that for Palmer. He did well. But perhaps he didn't. And again, Dwyer prepared to move forward where nobody expected it. He'll have to race to get back now as Wolves attack once more with Atkinson. Richards. Parkin in space. Oh, it took a bounce and it'll reach Gray. Davis has done well. Here's Bell. Still not out of play. Swung back in, and Davis the hero again. Still the pressure. Here's Dwyer. Leaves it to Sutton. Berry back in. Richards and Gray in space. It'll break for Bell. What a substitution by John Barnwell. Norman Bell has been on the field a matter of minutes, and Wolves are back in the game. 20 minutes to go, and this cup tie comes to life. A period of sustained pressure by Wolves. Di Davis had twice rescued Wrexham with marvellous goalkeeping, but in the end, when the ball was put back in, Bell, Gray and Richards were all on hand, and it was Bell's ferocious shot which brought Wolves level. 1-1, and what a finish we've got in prospect now. Here's Edwards now for Wrexham. Can they get back into this game? McNeil's the man who can do it, and very nearly did. Dixon McNeil, who scored more goals in the FA Cup than any player currently in the game. Came close then. And the crowd singing the name of Norman Bell, the Wolves substitute, who's brought them back to life. Could drop here for Gray, and it could drop for Bell again. Oh, he's got another! Long kick, giving the Wrexham defence problems, but it dropped for Bell. There was never any doubt that the ball was going to end up lashed into the back of the Wrexham net. 2 goals in the space of a few minutes, and Bell the hero. For Gray, and that was sort of holding by Joey Jones. Well, John Barnwell and Richie Barker must be delighted the way their substitution has come off. Wolves still pumping men forward. Oh, Bell got the touch, which might have produced another. It's certainly not over yet, the way Wrexham are fighting with heart. Here's Arkwright. Hill. Driven against Atkinson. Dwyer. McNeil. Turned again for Jones. Here's Fox. McNeil, and he went for that with his hands. And I don't think the referee saw it. The linesman certainly did, because he has his flag raised. The referee was hidden by a group of players, but McNeil, I feel sure, went for that ball with his hand. The linesman flagged, the referee didn't see it. There could have been an almighty controversy if Wrexham had created anything out of that. Now Sigelski for Wrexham. Forwards calling for him to pump the ball long. And he did it, but Fox couldn't control. Came off Jones, and that's another Wolves throw. And Atkinson had 1 foot over the touchline when he took that throw in, so the throw goes Wrexham's way. So we move into the final couple of minutes, and Wolves happy to take a long time over this free kick. Parkin will take it. Aims it at Bell. And here's Bell again. Gray! Marvellous save. What an effort by Gray. Danger not gone for Wrexham yet. Hibbett did well, and that's a corner. Well, Andy Gray could have scored a really spectacular goal then had it not been for Di Davis, who's played outstandingly well for Wrexham and yet been beaten twice. Again, Davis reaches in, Parkin. Touched on by Richards! 3-1. John Richards gets the goal and clinches Wolves' place in the quarter-final. In the final minute of the game, Parkin playing the ball in right-footed from just outside the box. The most delicate of headers by John Richards, and it was just enough to divert the ball out of Di Davis's reach. And Wolves have clinched a victory that for so long looked as though it might go the way of Wrexham instead. 3-1, and Wrexham are beaten now. Here's Fox. Arkwright. On for Hill as we move into injury time. Bradshaw falls surely. And despite the challenge from Vinter, he holds on to it. Gray's header. Here's Richards. Now Hibbett. Oh, lovely ball on for Richards. Brought down just outside the box. Hibbett driving it in. Oh, well, Berry could have made it fall. He really drove that across Hibbett, and the final deflection was off a Wrexham player. Hibbett in a hurry to take the corner. Ooh, Berry, and that's the final action of a cup tie that turned dramatically midway through the second half. Fox it was who gave Wrexham a first half lead. They battled away well, but when this man arrived, well, for whom the bell tolled, Wrexham, it tolled for you today. Bell came on, 2 goals in 2 minutes, turned the game completely. Then Richards got the third late on, and Wolves go through to their 4th quarter-final in the space of 5 seasons. Wolverhampton Wanderers 3, Wrexham 1.
Well, Norman Bell's substitution there turning the tide in Wolves' favour. But until then, it looked as if Wrexham were going to survive the pressure and hold on to their 1-goal lead. But the game is for 90 minutes and substitution is allowed within the laws, and some players seem to thrive on it.
Well, Norman, it looks as if you've become the new David Fairclough, because that's not the first time you've turned the game coming on as substitute recently, is it?
No, that's, well, you could say the 3rd time in 3 games, because West Bromwich Albion, the tide seemed to turn a little bit 2 weeks ago. Last week, we got the equaliser in the last few minutes when I came on, and today, everything's just been unbelievable.
Now, watching from the bench, did you honestly think that Wrexham were going to hang on? It looked as though they might. No,
I said to Richie Barker after about 5 minutes of the second half that I couldn't possibly see them holding out for the full time.
Why were you convinced?
We hadn't really played in the first half, and yet we still hadn't been in any trouble. We started off a little nervously, and the pitch didn't help, so the boys were thinking twice before playing a lot of balls. And I just knew that we could step up again. We just needed that first goal, and I knew the rest would follow.
So what were the instructions from Richie and John Balmer when they sent you on?
Stir them up.
Well, you certainly did that. The crowd were right behind you as well, weren't they?
Oh, it's tremendous. Absolutely fantastic here. It's happened the last 3 games. They're really getting behind me. I was left out for the cup tie at Watford. That was the first game I missed. And since then, they've really gotten behind me and cheered me on. So it's been really great for me.
Well, on Wrexham's behalf, we should refer to their appeal for a penalty for handball when they were leading 1-0. And there's no doubt in my mind that the hand or arm made contact with the ball. The pointed issue is whether it was intentional. Well, that's a matter of opinion, and it's only the referees that counts on the day. But if I'd have been the defender involved, I'd have been enormously relieved not to have heard the whistle blow.
Well, you can hear the draw for the 6th round at 12:30 tomorrow on Radio 2. And what we do know already is that 7 First Division clubs will be in the quarter-finals, because one of this week's replays is Everton against Southampton on Tuesday night. Everton manager Gordon Lee, happy with his team's performance at the Dell yesterday, has Steve McMahon available again after his 2-match suspension. And that's just as well for Everton, as fullback John Bailey was having treatment for a hamstring injury this morning and is very doubtful for the replay. Southampton manager Laurie McMenemy is more hopeful of his 2 injury problems. Nick Holmes took a knock against Everton and had treatment today, but should be okay. And Graham Baker, who missed yesterday's game with a thigh strain, will also be in the squad, which travels to Goodison. The other replay takes place on Wednesday, with 3rd Division Exeter City playing Newcastle of the 2nd at their own St James's Park. And the Devon club had every reason to celebrate at the end of yesterday's 1-1 draw, which brings them another welcome pay night after their 4th round replay win against Leicester. Exeter are not only still fighting in the FA Cup, but are battling on with a 3rd appeal against the Football League's decision to fine them £5,000 plus costs for failing to play a game at Scunthorpe in 1974 when their team was riddled with flu. The only fitness problems for the replay concern top scorer Tony Kello, who is again feeling his hamstring strain, and Lee Roberts, who was hurt when scoring the equaliser at Newcastle. Both are receiving treatment from Exeter's 2 lady physios and are expected to play. As for Newcastle, manager Arthur Cox told me today that striker Bobby Shinton is seeing a specialist this afternoon about his knee injury and is definitely out of the replay, but he hopes that his captain Mick Martin will be fit to play. Arthur also added, "We have a hell of a game on our hands now, a real cup tie." Meanwhile, this afternoon, the first Sunday League match for 7 years was staged at Darlington, and it was a great success, with a crowd of 5,932 compared with their season's average of 2,500. The result, Darlington 2, Mansfield 2, which means that Mansfield stay 3rd and are now 6 points behind 2nd-placed Lincoln. Permission for Sunday football, of course, came only last Monday at the meeting of League Club Chairmen, when the major change in the game's future was the acceptance of 3 points for a win starting next season. And it's been quite a week all round, with that meeting, League and FA Cup dramas, and the £4 million transfer of arguably the most exciting footballer in the world, Diego Maradona, who has moved from Argentinos Juniors to Boca Juniors. And that gives us an opportunity to look again at the brilliant Argentinian international and the moment of magic so many of you keep asking us to show from the match against England at Wembley last May.
Oh. Maradona again. And he's taking the ball on! And it's gone wide, but what a marvellous example of this man's ability.
Well, now apologies for misleading you last week about Dennis Mortimer's goal for Aston Villa against Everton. I supported referee Gwyn Owen's decision not to give Gary Shaw offside, but for the wrong reasons. As you'll see now, and some of you spotted at the time, Shaw's well-timed run started from an onside position and the linesman read it perfectly. So for the second week running, those officials emerge with flying colours, even if I don't. Well, just to remind you that the next football on BBC One is on Wednesday in Sports Night, which begins at 9:55. And by that time, we'll know the draw for the quarter-final, and perhaps the unluckiest team not to figure in that draw is Wrexham. With a fair win, the penalty decision might have gone for them, and it's just possible John Barnwell might not have decided to bring on a player who, after all, is up for sale. Good afternoon.
Berry back in. Richards and Gray in space. It'll break for Bell! Substitution by John Barnwell. Oh, and the header could drop here for Gray, and it could drop for Bell again.